All right, let's get into it, because the conversation around the Los Angeles Lakers is heating up. And there's one thing that's becoming clearer by the day. They desperately need some legit 3-and-D wings. This team needs shooting on the perimeter. They need defenders who can switch, close out, and stay in front of the ball. And they need athleticism. Guys who can fly up and down the court, contest shots, and bring that energy the Lakers just haven't had consistently. And when we're talking about names that can check a lot of those boxes, one in particular has started to gain a lot of traction again. He's a player that's already been mentioned before, a name that's been floated around in rumors and fan discussions. And now, with the league heading into the offseason and rosters set to shake up, that name is right back in the mix. Andrew Wiggins. Now I know what some people might be thinking. Wiggins again? Really? But hang on, this isn't just recycling old rumors for the sake of conversation. Things have changed. Since the last time Wiggins was brought up as a potential target, some new layers have been added to the situation, especially involving the Miami Heat. There's been some buzz suggesting that Miami might be considering a soft reset, not a full rebuild, but more of a strategic restructuring. They're taking a hard look at where they're going, what kind of roster they want moving forward, and whether certain contracts still fit that vision. And that's where Andrew Wiggins comes in. If Miami wants to clear the books a little bit, or make room for different types of players, Wiggins could be on the table. Here's where things start to get interesting for the Lakers. One of the most valuable things they have right now isn't necessarily a player, it's their collection of expiring contracts. That might not sound exciting on the surface, but in today's NBA, where teams are constantly trying to manage luxury tax thresholds and create future flexibility, those expiring deals can be gold. Miami, for instance, is reportedly already shopping Duncan Robinson. That alone tells you they're trying to move some money around. If the Lakers can offer up a package that includes those contracts, along with some rotation-level talent, they might actually have a shot at landing Wiggins. Now, let's talk about the logistics here, because that's where things get tricky. Andrew Wiggins is set to make over $30 million next season, and he's got a player option. And let's be real, there's absolutely no chance he's turning that down. No one in their right mind is walking away from that kind of guaranteed money, especially not in the current market. So any team that wants Wiggins is going to have to trade for him. Plain and simple. The Lakers, with their cap situation, can't just sign him outright. They would have to match that $30 million salary in a trade, which isn't easy. That means you're looking at sending out multiple pieces. Rui Hachimura is probably the centerpiece in any potential deal. And while Rui has shown promise and fits nicely in the rotation, Wiggins is a more natural three, has more experience, and brings a stronger defensive presence. So you'd be swapping Rui for Wiggins and upgrading at that position, especially in terms of perimeter defense and off-ball fit. But that alone isn't enough to match salaries. You're likely also including someone like Maxi Kleber and maybe a Shake Milton, or another contract that helps balance the deal. And realistically, you're probably going to need a third team involved to help facilitate everything. Even with all that, you have to ask the question, what would Miami want in return? It's unlikely they just hand over Wiggins for cap. Relief, especially with a contract that's not toxic. He's still productive, still in his prime, and could be useful for a lot of teams. So maybe you're throwing in a pick swap or a second rounder or two. But here's the key. You're not giving up the future. You're not moving Austin Reeves. You're not giving up Dalton Knecht. Those guys, especially Reeves, are foundational to the Lakers' plans going forward. Wiggins should be viewed as an asset that complements them, not someone you gut the roster to acquire. From a basketball standpoint, Andrew Wiggins actually makes a ton of sense. He's not the player you ask to be your number one or even your number two, but as your third or fourth option, that's where he shines. Remember the 2022 Warriors championship run? Wiggins was phenomenal. There was even legit conversation about him being in the mix for Finals MVP. That's the version of Wiggins you want to plug into a team like the Lakers. A guy who defends at a high level, hits open threes, crashes the boards, and can go get you a bucket when needed, without needing the ball in his hands all the time. The fit would be pretty seamless. You could run him at the 2 next to a bigger wing, or keep him at the 3 where he's most natural. He can guard 1 through 3, sometimes even 4 depending on the matchup. And offensively, he gives you that off-ball threat you need alongside guys like LeBron James and possibly Luka Doncic if the Lakers were to somehow pull off another blockbuster. You'd still need a strong defensive center behind him, Someone like Nick Claxton would be perfect. But adding Wiggins to a core that includes LeBron, Reeves, and maybe even another versatile defender like Dorian Finney-Smith, now you're talking about a legit defensive unit with offensive upside. And look, Wiggins isn't just a name or a former #1 pick. He's been quietly solid for years now. Last season with Golden State, he played in 43 games, all starts, and averaged just over 30 minutes per game. He shot nearly 45% from the field, 38% from three on almost 6 attempts per night, and finished with about 18 points per game. That's efficient, productive basketball, especially when you consider he wasn't even the second option on that team. Then, during his stint in Miami, hypothetically speaking for the sake of this scenario, his numbers slightly shifted. He took a bit more responsibility, averaged more shots per game, and while his three-point percentage dipped a little to 36%, his overall field goal percentage actually went up. He was asked to do more, and he delivered more. Not elite, but consistent, and that matters. You're also getting a guy who, despite his contract, might still have some long-term value. He's only 30 years old. If you trade for him and he performs well, you can either extend him on a more reasonable deal or let him walk in a year if it doesn't work out. It gives the Lakers some flexibility, which is rare when you're dealing with big contracts. And for a team that wants to stay competitive while also eyeing the future, that kind of move can make a lot of sense. What really stands out with Wiggins, though, is his ability to adapt. He can play off the ball, he can create in isolation, he can post up smaller defenders, and he's a willing cutter. He's not going to hijack the offense, and he's not the kind of guy who needs 20 shots a night to feel involved. On the Lakers, where the pecking order is already clear, LeBron, Reeves, possibly Luka, or another star, Wiggins could slide into a role that maximizes his strengths without asking too much. The biggest knock, of course, is that contract. $30 million is a lot, especially when you're a team that's already tight against the cap. But if the Lakers can make the math work by packaging expiring deals and avoiding giving up too much long-term capital, then maybe it's worth it. Because the reality is you're not finding a lot of wings out there who can give you what Wiggins does on both ends of the floor. There's also the idea that with the right role and environment, Wiggins might actually thrive in a way we haven't seen consistently since that 2022 playoff run. Playing next to stars who draw double teams in a system that rewards defense and ball movement, he could easily return to that level of impact. And if he does, then $30 million doesn't look so bad after all. In fact, it might look like a bargain compared to some of the contracts being handed out these days. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. Wiggins has always had games where he looks like a superstar, followed by stretches where he kind of fades into the background. That's been the knock on him since he came into the league. But the Lakers don't need him to carry the team. They just need consistency. They need that wing who's going to show up every night, hit a couple of threes, defend the other team's best perimeter guy, and be a steady presence in the rotation. That's the role he would be walking into. And frankly, that's the role where he's shown the most success in his career. Even if you play devil's advocate and argue that the Lakers should look for multiple rotation players instead of committing to one guy like Wiggins, it still depends on what's available. Because at the end of the day, how many 3-and-D wings are realistically gettable for the Lakers without giving up something significant? The pool is small, and most of those guys don't have Wiggins upside or playoff experience. So unless you're finding a miracle 2-for-1 trade, going after Wiggins could be one of the best realistic options on the table. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on! In a move that could shake up the entire NBA landscape, whispers are swirling around a potential blockbuster deal involving the Los Angeles Lakers and none other than the towering Latvian superstar Kristaps Porzingis. Standing an imposing 2.21 meters tall, Porzingis is often referred to as a unicorn in basketball circles due to his rare combination of height, shooting ability, and agility. Rumors are now hinting that the Lakers are eyeing him as the missing piece to construct an unstoppable championship contender. For months, the Lakers have been seeking to bolster their roster with a game-changing big man who can stretch the floor, protect the rim, and complement their star-studded lineup. Porzingis fits that profile perfectly. blending elite three-point shooting with shot-blocking prowess. Sources close to the situation suggest that talks have heated up, with the Lakers pushing aggressively to bring the Latvian power forward to Hollywood. If the deal goes through, it would mark a seismic shift for the Lakers franchise. Kristaps Porzingis, known for his unique skill set, would add a new dimension to the team's offense and defense, creating matchup nightmares for opponents across the league. His presence alongside the Lakers' core stars could elevate them to a new level, making them one of the most feared squads in the NBA. The buzz around this possible acquisition has NBA fans and analysts buzzing alike. While nothing is finalized, the Lakers' ambition to construct their monster championship team appears more real than ever. Porzingis' blend of size, shooting, and mobility would not only fit the modern NBA style, but could redefine the Lakers' approach to winning. As the trade deadline looms, all eyes will be on Los Angeles. Will the Lakers pull the trigger and secure the coveted unicorn? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The NBA could be on the brink of one of its most intriguing transformations in recent memory. The possibility of Kristaps Porzingis donning the purple and gold uniform has sparked excitement and speculation, leaving fans eager for what might become one of the most impactful moves of the season. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.